EPCs, Energy Performance Certificates, love them or hate them, it's all changed. They're going to be replaced by something new, a home energy model, and that's coming next year. That's what we're going to cover in this video. As always, to discuss this, I'm joined by Andrew Roberts. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Ranjan.
So, you love EPCs, don't you? Like all landlords, aren't they a fantastic thing for us? And now that we've got a grips with them somewhat, they have decided to replace them with something else next year. I mean, let's just cover a little bit about EPCs. I mean, it's all about Energy Performance Certificate. It's all about energy performance and having insulation and all that jazz, and the government's net zero, isn't it?
Really?
What do you think then?
Come on, you pay 40 quid, a bloke comes in, he spends 10 minutes looking at your property and goes, yeah, you're a C.
It's tick box.
Yeah.
It's tick box, and it has a huge number of anomalies because when they do these EPCs, they do it using software, and they tick from drop-down boxes, and if whatever heating system you've got installed in your property is on that that checklist, it's fine. If it's not, then they can't do it.
It's tough cheddar, yeah. I mean, how many properties have we had and they go, oh, we don't have that in our system because it's too new. Yet the new stuff is the energy efficient stuff. Surely they would keep the systems up to date that's supposed to be given an EPC that lasts 10 years. Come on.
And then, they're not really, I mean, this is just adding to landlords' costs. They're not really giving us any stability here. We have to have an EPC, then they're saying we've got to upgrade all rented properties to EPC grade C. And then they're saying, well, that might not be worthwhile implementing right now. We're not going to put that pressure on landlords, and that whole thing about EPC grade C for 2028 has now been abolished.
Yeah.
But they're replacing it with this next year.
Yeah, hemp, isn't it? Is it hemp?
HEM.
Oh,
Home
sorry, I'm
Energy
getting
Model.
confused. I thought we were all going to relax and chill about this.
But I think, I think this is a shift towards looking at the carbon emissions as opposed to the energy performance, or bringing that into it somehow. What's your take on why we need to change and what this change is about?
Well, I think it's bannered as a carbon emission reduction by changing the methodology of monitoring. Now, let's wind this back a bit. Gas is being outlawed. People are swapping from gas to electric or to heat pumps, and the EPCs are going down. So they've got to do something to actually encourage that system to give a better response. However, they are saying the cost of this is going to be approximately £65 for a 3-bed house, and it shouldn't take more than 30, maximum 40 minutes. Now, if you're a home buyer walking around the average 3-bed home, that is 30 minutes it takes you to walk around that building. Now, during that time, they're apparently going to measure every window accurately. They're going in the loft. They're checking the insulation. They're checking conversions of rooms. They're looking at if you've got solar on the roof. They're looking at if you've got photovoltaic batteries to store the energy from that, and whether you're using the energy in your house or not. In 30 minutes? Really?
Well, and there's some other complications, I think, in terms of how existing EPC ratings will map on to the new home energy model. Now, EPCs were introduced quite some time ago. Many people will be, because they're valid for 10 years, so many people will have reached the expiry of EPC, of their existing EPC. So that means that if you then have to go for an HEM, will you get an equivalent rating, and will they force you to retrospectively upgrade stuff?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, this will all come down to what the minimum standards are for you to be able to rent. And as far as I'm aware, they've not actually released what those minimum standards are for rental properties. But will it map over? From what I'm seeing, there are going to be some big winners and there's going to be some big losers. Because at the moment, there's no account of if you have batteries and solar panels on your roof. They're saying that that will actually jack your EPC up. On the other side of it, if you've got a heat pump, then that will jack your energy certificate rating up. But if you've got a gas boiler, it's likely to fall through the floor. So I think there's going to be winners and losers.
So it looks as though, I mean, particularly for people with older properties, it's going to be a problem when they're renewing their EPC and getting an HEM instead. But it's also true that even if you have a new build property, the requirement for EPC for a new build may not necessarily be the same as the requirement for rentals. So even if you build your own flats or you buy an off-plan flat, which you shouldn't do anyway for rental, but if you have a brand new flat, it still might not be compliant.
Well, in terms of the point you're making there, they're actually creating some bands with ages of property. Now, the interesting thing for me with the aging and the banding is 2023 properties onwards have different rules to properties in older bands. So it's not even like you can go out there and go, right, I need to do this and apply it across my portfolio, because you might have properties built in the 1800s, the early 1900s, the 60s and 70s, the 90s, and now in the 2023 onwards. So you've got different banding. How do you work this out?
It's crazy. I mean, regulation is one thing, but unclear regulation, which is as clear as mud for us to decipher, ain't a great thing. So that's more regulation and unclear regulation we've got to contend with next year. There will be more information on this HEM thing released over the coming months. We'll keep you informed on this channel, so make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to let us know what you think of all this stuff.
So make sure you stay tuned to the channel, where Ranjan and I will bring you, as this news breaks, what it means for you as a landlord when we've got the specific detail for you.
That's it for this video. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe, and also join us at this month's Baker Street Property Meet. The Baker Street Property Meet is the UK's largest and #1 property investors networking event. The property market is going through monumental change right now, and at Baker Street Property Meet we aim to keep you up to date with the latest tips and tricks and insider tactics to help you keep on top of your property investing game and succeed in these troubled economic times. The Baker Street Property Meet is fundamentally about networking, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And at Baker Street we aim to connect you with the people to make your property journey a monumental success. There's no better place to be to further your property investment journey than the Baker Street Property Meet. So make sure you're here, you're connecting with myself and Andrew Roberts, our expert guest speakers, and 300 passionate property people each and every month. See you at the next meet. Get your spot at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com.